Namaskar. Today we will be discussing the unit Four Noble Truths of Buddhism. This unit basically explains the Four Noble Truths of Buddhism. In this unit, the main teachings of Buddha are to be discussed. Buddha's teachings are contained in the Four Noble Truths. These are there is suffering, there is a cause of suffering, there is a cessation of suffering, and there is a way leading to the cessation of suffering. The basic philosophy of Buddha's teachings is the total extinction of suffering. According to him, Nirvana is attained here on the earth. Nirvana is the cooling of passion. It is the sight of perfect peace and perfect enlightenment. The way to nirvana is the eightfold path of right conduct, concentration, and insight. They remove ignorance and desire, enlighten the mind, and bring about perfect equanimity and tranquility. Now, we will discuss the Four Noble Truths. The first one is there is suffering. The first noble truth of Buddhism is concerned with the nature of human sufferings. The causes of sufferings are both diff- are birth, different diseases, old age, and death. Therefore, there is suffering everywhere and at all stages of life. There is pain with birth. Similarly, disease is painful, death is painful, union with the unpleasant is painful, just as separation from pleasant is painful. Thus, Buddha is on the conclusion that life is all pain. In our life, we the human beings get pleasure about certain things. But Buddha said that they are only the sensual pleasure, and sensual pleasure is not permanent. According to him, sensual pleasure is transitory and followed by pain. The second noble truth of Buddhism is there is a cause of suffering. According to him, every event must have a cause, and without cause nothing can happen. Will to live or desire is the motivating power which creates the cycle of birth and death, and it is the cause of suffering. This desire is of three kinds. They are will to live for sex or sensual pleasures, will to live for enjoyment of life, and desire for will and power. Thus, will to live is the cause of suffering. Buddha described these causes according to his theory of causation. It is known as Pratitya Samutpada or dependent origination. Dependent origination or Pratitya Samutpada is the foundation of all the teachings of Buddha. The literal meaning of Pratitya Samutpada is arising after getting. It means the production of an effect out of a complement of cause and conditions. When the cause and conditions disappear, the effect disappears. The causal formula is this being that arises. It means depending on the cause, the effect arises. Buddha's belief in the theory of dependent origination relates to a 12-link chain. It makes him able to trace back the origin of suffering. Here every consequence is dependent on the antecedent for its origin. Buddha explains the 12 links in the following way. Joramana is the first link of the same. It means suffering is due to the nature of old age, death, etc. Jati is the cause of this Joramana. If anyone does not take part, then the question of suffering does not arise. So birth is the cause of suffering. The cause of jati is bhava, means will to be born. The cause of bhava is upadana. It means one's clinging is due to trishna or the thirst for such enjoyment. This thirst is due to vedana. It is actual sense enjoyment. The cause of this sense enjoyment is spursa, that is sense object contact. Sada atana, that is six sense organs including mind, is due to nama rupa. It means the psychophysical organism. This organism is due to vijnana, the initial consciousness of the embryo. Sanskara means the forces generated by the past karmas, which are finally the cause of ignorance. Therefore, ignorance is the root cause of all human sufferings. Thus, we get the 12 links of dependent origination. They are: first one, ignorance, this past life; second one, impressions of karmic forces, sanskara; third one, initial consciousness of the embryo, vijnana; seventh one is sense experience, that is vedana; eighth one is thirst for sense enjoyment, krishna; clinging to this enjoyment, upadana, is the ninth one; tenth one is will to be born, bhava; 11th one is reward, that is jati; and 12th one is old age and death, that is jara and murder. These 12 links are called the bhava sakra, sanskara sakra, janma marna sakra, dharma sakra, patitta samudpada sakra, etc. Among these 12 links, the first two, avidya and sanskara, are related to the past life. The last two, jati and jaramarna, are with the future life, and the others are related with the present life. The doctrine of karma is based on this theory. Our present life is due to the impressions of the past karmas, and it will shape our future life. Again, the theory of Khanabhangavada or momentariness is also based on it. According to it, all things are relative, dependent, conditional, and finite. So they must be momentary. The third noble truth of Buddhism is the cessation of suffering. The third noble truth is the extinction of suffering. Since everything arises from some cause and conditions, so when the conditions are removed, then suffering also will be removed. The total elimination of suffering is known as nirvana. Nirvana means being free from bondage and a reward. It is the perfect calm and tranquility, undisturbed by desires and passions. Now, we'll discuss another very significant concept of Buddhism, that is concept of nirvana in a very brief manner. Dukkha nirodha, or the cessation of suffering, is called nirvana. Buddha says that when a person controls his desires and passions, he can get perfect knowledge. It is possible when he realizes the Four Noble Truths that the person becomes to an arhat. Arhat means a worthy person. According to Buddha, this stage is popularly known as nirvana. It is the state of bliss and happiness. There is no place for misery or pain in it. The literal meaning of nirvana is blown out or cooled down. On the basis of the literal meaning, some Buddhists and non-Buddhists have explained a negative aspect of nirvana. According to him, nirvana means the complete elimination of all physical and mental states. According to Buddha, nirvana is the cessation of suffering and it eliminates the conditions of rebirth. In the Pali text, it is stated that there are two types of nirvana. One is called upadhisesa nirvana and the other is called nirupadhisesa nirvana. First one is also known as nirvana and the latter one is also called and the latter one is called parinirvana. In the state of nirvana, there is no attachment or desire. There is only the existence of pure consciousness. But in the state of parinirvana, all these are eliminated. According to Buddha, nirvana can be attained within the life. And Buddha himself is the greatest example of it. Nirvana is an ineffable state of perfect wisdom, perfect peace, and perfect self-command. Now, the fourth noble truth of Buddhism is the path of cessation of suffering. Buddha said that one can attain nirvana within his lifetime. But there is a question, how can it be possible to obtain liberation or nirvana? According to Buddha, there are 8 paths for the attainment of nirvana. They are called the Eightfold Path or the Ashtangika Marga of Buddhism. These paths are open to all monks as well as laymen. They are right views, right resolve, right speech, right conduct, right livelihood, right effort, right mindfulness, right concentration, right views. Ignorance or avidya is the root cause of all sufferings of human beings. Because of this ignorance, man cannot acquire right knowledge about the relation between the self and the world. So, right knowledge is defined as the correct knowledge about the Four Noble Truths. When we acquire the right knowledge, it leads us to the supreme goal, that is nirvana. The second one is right resolve. Every man must resolve to reform his life in the light of the right knowledge. So the act of resolution to lead an honest life in the path of right knowledge is right resolve. The third one is right speech. Right speech consists in abstention from lying, slander, abuse, harsh words, etc. One should speak right, not the unrighteous. He should speak the truth, not the false. We should speak well, and he must speak that which does not pain oneself or nor hurts others. Fourth one is right conduct. It consists in abstention from the desire of life, from stealing, from life, accept liberality, courtesy, kind, and usefulness should be cultivated by all. Fifth one is right livelihood. Right livelihood means one has to maintain his life of honest means. By renouncing bad speech and bad actions, one should earn their honest means. Sixth one is right effort. Right effort consists in suppressing the evil states and cultivating the good states. A restless mind is not conducive to good thoughts, good emotions, and good conduct. Seventh one is right mindfulness. It is the recollection of the impurity of the body, the nature of feelings, pleasure, and pain. It frees the mind from raga and nature and prepare the mind for higher concentration. Thus, right mindfulness is an indispensable prerequisite of right concentration. Right concentration is the last part to the attainment of nirvana. It consists of four meditation. In the first state, sensuality is eliminated. The second state is concerned with the deep tranquility. The third stage is a mental consciousness in which all passions are eliminated. The last one is a state of complete tranquility and passions. Thus, it is the state of perfect wisdom. Now, we'll discuss the summary of this unit. The fourfold paths of Buddhism are called Four Noble Truths. The second noble truth of Buddhism holds that every event must have a cause and nothing can happen without a cause. The second noble truth of Buddhism is associated with the theory of causation. It is known as Pratitya Samutpada or dependent origination. According to Buddha, ignorance is the root cause of all human sufferings. The 12 links of dependent origination are called the Bhava Sakra, Dharma Sakra, Pratitya Samutpada Sakra, etc. Buddha holds that there are 8 paths for the attainment of nirvana. These eightfold paths are called the Astangika Marga of Buddhism. Nirvana means the cessation of sufferings. Now, to understand the concept of Four Noble Truth of Buddhism, we have to study some good books. These books are S.C. Chatterjee's and D.M. Datta's book, An Introduction to Indian Philosophy. Second one is Hiriana's book, Outlines of Indian Philosophy. Sarvapalli Radhakrishnan's book, Indian Philosophy, Volume 2. C.D. Sharma's book, A Critical Survey of Indian Philosophy, and J.N. Sinha's book, Outlines of Indian Philosophies, are very, very important. Thank you.